So our number two question, your new book has quite a title. I'll say it one more time. Y'all fired a Southern Belle's Guide to Restoring Federalism and Draining the Swamp. So what's this book about? I think I've got an idea.
Well, it's mostly in the title, y'all fired, plural, when applied appropriately. But it really is, there's three main parts. The first part is my anecdotal experience with the deep state. And this includes things you wouldn't believe. Putting me up in a sex hotel away from an official delegation meeting when I had gone to Germany to negotiate on behalf of President Trump and U.S. interests. Anonymous tips turning into frivolous investigations. It doesn't matter whether there was merit or not. What it resulted in was tens of thousands of dollars in legal bills and a lot of wasted time, energy, and resources. So it's an anecdotal snapshot of my experience with the deep state at an agency that I would characterize as ground zero for activists that not only don't listen to the President Trump and try to undermine his policy direction, but will go out of their way to demean, degrade, and demoralize any of the political appointees that are doing the work for him. And so that's the first section. The second section is really a historical review of how did we get to this position where we are today, where the deep state truly is unaccountable and out of control. So it's a historical look going back to the late 1800s and really the shift of the states leading the charge versus this growing capital district and affiliated industries. And I say it really goes back to the passage of the 16th Amendment, which was establishment of income tax, and the 17th Amendment, which was how we elect our senators. It really changed some fundamental aspects of our constitutional republic that opened up the gates for the FDR New Deal Constitution to come in and then shift the focus of the citizens to looking to the government to solve their problems instead of figuring it out for themselves. So those changes, that platform, and then the establishment of agency deference. Up until recently, we got to check on that. But up until recently, that has really allowed the proliferation of the deep state to where today there's around 2.9 million unaccounted bureaucrats that are responsible individually for implementing the laws of the lands. I'm sure the founders just hearing me say that are rolling in their grave. That's not the way it's supposed to be in our constitutional republic. So that leads me to the last section, the third section, which is, well, what do we do about it? And so I lay out there's policy strategy, there's personnel strategy, and then there's the big picture commitment that we as a conservative group have to take this on, not just thinking about the next conservative administration, but very long term, similar to the way the conservative movement retook the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. And by the way, for our audience, I have a business law 101 out talking about the demise of the Chevron doctrine, which is what we referenced a few minutes ago. That meant if a bureaucrat said something, you had to go through the whole bureaucratic process before you could even go to court. And then when you went to court, the federal courts would say, oh, well, the federal agency said this. Well, clearly they must be the experts. And that was a judge-created doctrine. And I'm so glad that our U.S. Supreme Court, with three recent nominees, has helped to restore a little balance in Washington. Not a lot.